The Browns released David Bell today in a pretty surprising move. So I've got two theories as to why they made this, I wouldn't say complete head scratching decision because he was already kind of a roster bubble player going into the year. But once he made the initial 53-man roster, I think we all agreed that he was probably safe for another season and then, reevaluate after 2024 whether or not that would be someone returning or just chalk it up to, yeah, a missed third round draft pick. So you can look at the updated receiver room without David Bell. The Browns now have 52 players on their roster. I have not seen a corresponding roster move, and I'll check right now as I film mid-video, but that's why I have two theories as to why the Browns made this decision. Because there's only one reason, or I should say, there's only two reasons, in my opinion, at this point and at this juncture, why you would move on from David Bell. Reason number one, you want to go sign somewhere else, and he is the 53rd guy on your roster. That makes a lot of sense, right? If you felt like there was a free agent you liked more or someone worth trading for, and you had to make a roster spot, okay, I could see David Bell kind of being towards the bottom of the totem pole, and the Browns decide, hey, we're going to bring someone else in, which means someone else has to go. But here's the thing. They didn't do that. They didn't sign someone, or at least no one's been reported. They didn't trade for anyone. So they just moved on from him and accepted having 52 guys going into week one. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards my second theory, which is just that, a theory. It's my own speculation. I'm not reporting anything. I wonder if something wasn't going well with David Bell and the Browns and his injury rehab. Remember David Bell picked up a hamstring injury, was it? Something in the lower body during preseason training camp. He missed some time because of it. He was injured at the start of practice. And I wonder if, again, this is just me tossing out ideas, he wasn't maybe going 100% in his rehab, or he wasn't fulfilling what the Browns were asking him to do. And the Browns decided, you know what? You were already a roster bubble player to begin with. Now we're kind of getting a person that's not giving 110% in returning to the field as soon as possible. So we're just going to cut you outright, and we'll roll with 52 guys for week one, elevate a few guys from the practice squad, and go from there. Those are the two theories I have as to why the Browns moved on from Bell. The second one, again, is just my own opinion, but it's really the only way I could just make sense of why would you release someone, a third-round draft pick, somewhat out of the blue, right before week one. I just really can't make sense of the reasoning behind it if it's not to make room for another player, which, again, like I said earlier, there's been no trade, there's been no signing, and most of the time when you get a signing at this point, you sign that veteran player to your practice squad and you elevate them to the active roster on game day. You get 3 elevations to do so. Like, it makes no sense to just put them right onto your active roster unless you have other teams competing for that player, which at the start of September, there's not a whole lot of competition for the free agents remaining. So 9 times out of 10, veteran signings go to the practice squad, and the team maxes out their 3 free elevations. Joe Flacco was signed to the Browns practice squad, and then they brought him up, remember? So I don't think that's the case here. If they really like someone, then the first guy to go would be someone on their practice squad, right? So unless they're trading for someone, if it's a trade, they have to go right to your active roster. I just don't see why the Browns would just cut him just for the sake of cutting him unless there's some drama, right? Is there some tea here? Like, was there something David Bell doing that the Browns were not a fan of and they decided, hey, we don't care if that means we have 52 guys for week one. We're not going to tolerate this, and we're just going to release you right now? Like, this is a little bit of a curious move, but ultimately when you're wide receiver 5 or 6, it's not going to really, move the needle a whole lot from the national media standpoint. But I'm a little curious to know what happened here. Now, next up on the show, we're going to look at the injury report for week one against the Browns and the Cowboys, as both teams have released their Wednesday and their Thursday injury report. And Thursday is a very important day because if you don't practice Wednesday and you don't practice Thursday, it's not looking good to practice Friday. But first, who you got? I'm all over the Browns this week. I mean, this is a really tough matchup for both teams. The Cowboys, of course, not an easy out. But I think the Browns' defense against 2 rookie starting offensive linemen at 2 key positions, left tackle and center, Myles Garrett is just going to abuse that. And that's the last video I made. So if you haven't checked that one out, go watch it when this one is over. But we have some injury news to get to here. Let's start with the Browns side of things. Jack Conklin he was a limited participant on Thursday, which is good. However, Jed Wills did not practice. He was limited on Wednesday and then downgraded to did not practice on Thursday. I mean, he said yesterday that he is not starting on Sunday, but maybe the idea was, okay, Conklin and Wills kind of split time at left tackle since both players are not really 100% yet. Now it's looking like Jed Wills might not play at all on Sunday if he can't even practice the second day after the first practice. Then we have a whole bunch of limited participants. I'm not concerned about these guys at all. It's important to note that with the NFL getting in bed more and more with gambling, they have to be on their P's and Q's when it comes to team injury reports because, I mean, bettors are going to look at this and go, okay, that guy didn't practice. Well, I'm going to bet the other team. Or this guy did practice, so I'm now going to bet this team. So there's a lot of really important information when it comes in the injury report. And if teams are not honest and completely transparent with it, well, bettors are going to get in trouble and they're going to lose and they're going to sue the NFL. So with that being said, limited participant just means if you miss one snap of practice, just one, you were limited. So don't look at limited as like a one-size-fits-all. Maybe some guys miss most of practice, but not all of it, so they're limited. Maybe one guy just didn't do a couple of contact drills, so he's limited. So I don't lose much sleep over limited. Do not practice, that or did not practice, that is a different story. As for the Cowboys, they don't have any major players on their injury report, and most of them are full participants. Like Mazi Smith, he's going to be their starting nose tackle. He was a full participant. Their rookie, Marshawn Kneeland from Western Michigan, he was a full participant. Damone Clark, the best, that's their Taki. Let's call it that way. He was a full participant from whatever. So the Cowboys have most of their guys pretty much. Trayvon Diggs. I'm all over the place. Trayvon Diggs, he tore his ACL during practice last year. He's not on the injury report, so he's definitely a good guy to go and play Sunday against the Browns and probably line up over Amari Cooper. Now, they do not have Duron Bland. That was the other corner they had who had 5 pick sixes and 10 interceptions last year. He is out the first 4 weeks. He has a stress fracture in his foot. So the Browns will likely capitalize on his absence, maybe try and feed the ball to Jerry Jeudy a bunch if Cooper is going up against Diggs. Speaking of Amari Cooper, one last thing to kind of end the video on. Amari Cooper, he talked about how going up against the Cowboys, there's not any bad blood because so much time has passed between the two, playing together, Cooper on the Cowboys. So I don't think there's like a revenge game being built in here for Coop. Plus, he's one of the most like calm guys in the world. And the other thing to note was the media asked Amari Cooper about the trade rumors this offseason with Brandon Ayuk, and he downplayed it. He was a pro about it. He's like, my eye is, on the prize here, and my attention is solely focused on the 2024 season. So he didn't really feed much into that. They asked him point blank about the Instagram story he had, and he's like, you guys in the media make such big deals out of little things, which we do. So he's not wrong. All right, that will do it for us, though, on this quick video regarding David Bell being released and the injury reports going into Week 1. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram channel, Browns Report IG. We're posting tons of content over there, so if you're on Instagram, go follow us today, Browns Report IG. We'll sign off, and we'll see you all tomorrow.